Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat back. We will start our next session. I would like to re-inform you that this event will be conducted in English. Seminar on Development of Problem-Based Learning Model organized by Faculty of Law, Social, and Political Sciences Open University, Wednesday, 6 December 2023. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Respectable Vice Rector for Research, Innovation, Cooperation and Business of Open University, Mr. Rahmat Budiman SSM Hum Ph.D. Honorable the Chairman of Law Study Program, which in this case represented by Mrs. Madiha Zakia Hairunisa SH LL.M. Honorable invited guest, Mr. Sascha LL.B, LL.M, Ph.D, Assistant Professor of Comparative Constitutional Law, Maastricht University, Mr. Dr. Radian Salman SH LL.M, Associate Professor, Faculty of Law, Erlangga University, Mr. Dr. Sri Wahyu Krida Sakti SH M.Si, Associate Professor, Faculty of Law, Sosial and Political Sciences, Open University. Honorable all participants of this event. Welcome to the Seminar on Development of Problem-Based Learning Model with theme the Adaption of Problem-Based Learning into Distant Teaching and Learning Platform. First of all, I would like to say the utmost gratitude towards God for letting us gather in today's event with good and stable state of health. My name is Helen Adana, will be the master of ceremony. I feel very honored to be along with you here at this virtual room, and let me read out our agenda this afternoon. The first, opening. The second, singing the national anthem of Indonesia Raya. The third, speeches. The fourth, material delivery. And the fifth, closing. The first agenda is the opening. Let's open this event by praying, so the event that we will hold on this day will run well without any obstacle at all. Move on to the second agenda is singing the national anthem of Indonesia Raya. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up. Please sit down. Ladies and gentlemen, step on to following agenda are speeches. The first one is committee report that will be delivered by the head of committee, Mr. Dr. Sri Wahyu Kridasakti S.A.M.Si. To Mr. Dr. Sri Wahyu Kridasakti S.A.M.Si, time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, salam sejahtera, rahayu. Due respect to Barak 4, due respect to the Dean and all of Vice Dean, FISIP, due respect to all of the chairmen of FISIP study program, and due respect to the PBL seminar speakers, Dr. Sascha and Dr. Radian Salman, and due respect to all the tutors and of the law study program, and due respect also to General Lecture Seminars PBL committee members. Firstly, gratitude goes to Allah for allowing us to get together here for the seminars to the adoption of problem-based learning into the distant learning, teaching, and learning platform. And also, not forgettingly, including the general lectures, comparative law, that just happened today, December the 6th, 2023. Secondly, let me report on the rationale and activities of organizing this general lecture and PBL seminar. Firstly, general lecture on comparative law and seminars on the adoption of PBL into distant learning, teaching, learning platform is very crucial development effort for the academic quality of the law study program and master law to achieve national and international academic standard. And secondly, the law study program and the UT Master Law Study Program development team are working hard to realize the achievement of international standard and opening of the Master Law Study Program planned in 2024.2 through such good collaboration among higher education institutions in the form of seminars, workshops, research development, internships program. Thirdly, the law study program and the UT Master Law Development Team have and continue to foster cooperation among higher education institutions, both internationally and nationally, including right now with the International Association of Law Schools and Faculty of Law, Maastricht University in the Netherlands, and with the Faculty of Law, Erlangen University. Certainly, the general lecture of problem-based learning seminar activities that taken place today is involving resource person from Maastricht University, the Netherlands, Dr. Sascha, Ph.D, and from Erlangen University, Dr. Radian Salman and Dr. Rosa Ristawati, and also the involvement of the students and tutors, law study programs of FISIP UT. And that is the reports on the organization of general lecture and PBL seminar that happened today. May all of this get our blessing, and hopefully this activity is able to improve the academic quality of the law study program and development of Master of Law Study program. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thanks to Mr. Dr. Sri Wahyu Kridasakti S.H.M.Si for the report. The next one is opening remarks, will be delivered by the Vice Rector for Research, Innovation, Cooperation and Business of Open University, dear Mr. Rahmat Budiman, SSM Hum Ph.D. Please, time is yours.
methodology. It is a philosophy that transforms digital education paradigms. It's about empowering learners to become proactive seekers of knowledge, creators of solutions, and cultivators of critical thinking. In a world where change is constant and challenges are diverse, the ability to adapt and innovative is paramount. PBL aligns perfectly with this need. It throws students into the heart of real-world problems, fostering curiosity and a hunger for understanding. The essence of PBL lies not in spoon-feeding information, but in igniting the spark of inquiry. By present authentic, complex problem, PBL encourages collaborative exploration and interdisciplinary thinking. It nurtures skill, vital for success in the modern landscape. Problems including problem solving, teamwork, communication, and adaptability. What makes PBL truly remarkable is its adaptability across disciplines and educational levels. Whether in science, humanities, or arts, PBL transcends boundaries, fostering a deep understanding and application of knowledge. Furthermore, in an era dominated by information overload, PBL serves as a beacon of practical application. It moves away from note memorization and passive learning, emphasizing the application of knowledge in real-life scenarios. Yet the journey of adoption PBL isn't without its challenges. Educators must embrace this shift in roles, becoming facilitators and guides rather than mere transmitter of information. They must create an environment that encourages curiosity, risk-taking, and resilience. Likewise, students must step out of their comfort zones, take ownership of their learning, and develop the skill necessary to tackle unstructured problems. Today's seminar isn't just about understanding PBL. It's about embracing a transformative educational approach that prepares us for a dynamic future. It's about empowering both educators and learners to adapt, innovate, and thrive for a world where change is only constant. As we delve deeper to the nuance of adapting PBL, let us remember that the true essence lies not just in solving problems, but in becoming adaptable problem solvers, equipped to navigate the challenges of tomorrow. Thank you for being part of this seminar. We hope to develop further collaboration with Maastricht University and as well as Airlangga University. Here, with your Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I open this webinar. Thank you, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
That is the fascinating remarks delivered by our Vice Rector, Mr. Rahmat Budiman, SSM Hum, Ph.D. We thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are about to enter the main event for today. Before that, let me reintroduce our moderator, Mr. Dr. Sri Wahyu Kridasakti, SH M.Si. He is a lecturer at Law Study Program, Open University since 1985. He graduated from Brawijaya University in Indonesia and also a professional consulting for some national and international institutions. his expertise at administrative law, and please welcome Mr. Dr. Sri Wahyu Krida Sakti, SH, M.Si.
Thank you, dear moderator. Good evening, I think. Good evening and welcome to today's seminar about the PBL adoptions into UT tutorials platform or system. The seminar of the PBL adoption will be addressed bilingual in a two-language version, English and Indonesia, and there will be all right. Yes, I'm waiting. Yes, the technology. Right, I think so. Yeah.
This is one of example of problem. We know it from leap times, right? Yes.
That's true. That's true.
Recording in progress.
I will see about the time. If there is not so much time for the video, I will skip the video. All right. In the end. So how much time is normally allowed? All of them together. So probably. So I shouldn't take more than half an hour because we want question time.
Right. Yeah. So much time do you need?
I should be done. Yeah, I should be done in 30 minutes.
Okay.
Then I need to
Yeah. Okay.
I would still like to make the video available, so you can later have
Sure. And you get the video
already. Yeah.
Yes, good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's seminar about the PBL adoption into UT tutorial system or platform. The seminar of PBL adoption will be addressed bilinguals in a two-language versions, English and Bahasa Indonesia. And there will be two subtopic titles be addressed. Those are the PBLs in Indonesia, going to be addressed by Dr. Sascha, and then the second one is going to be the title Student-Centered Learning. It's going to be delivered by Dr. Radian Salman. My name is Sri Wahyu Krida Sakti. You may call me Wahyu, and I'll be your moderators for today's general discussion. To give you an overview of what we are having today, we'll be covering the issue of the PBL adoptions, and as our program session of this afternoon. And then there will be actually later question and answer sessions, and I'll let you know when the time comes. And to all of you as the participants, you are encouraged to ask questions, share your thoughts, and present any relevant example. And this is meant to be an interactive discussion, so don't hesitate to contribute your insights. Without further ado, let's get started. We have a great agenda, and then first I'd like to give times and place to Dr. Sascha to present his materials, and before that, I want to let you know that Dr. Sascha is very known and expert on the issues of PBL, and then he has also published plenty of books regarding these issues, and he is associate professors and from Faculty of Law, Maastricht University, Netherlands. Please join me. Welcome to Dr. Sascha, please.
Thank you very much, Pak Wahyu, for the kind introduction. And for those of you who have been following the earlier lecture, welcome back. I'm very happy to be here today to present the topic of problem-based learning. Might I see my presentation? Thank you very much. So, before I start addressing PBL, let me give you a little bit of a background of myself and my university and why it is that it is a good idea, in our opinion, for this university, Maastricht University, to collaborate in this process of introducing PBL in Indonesia. Maastricht University is one of only 13 full-fledged research university in the Netherlands. It is a small country, and out of these 13 universities, it is the youngest, the newest university. This is part of the reason why Maastricht University is famous and takes pride in its innovative teaching approaches. Actually, it is, as far as I know, the only university, at least in Europe, which applies problem-based learning in all its programs and at all the stages of its study programs. Maastricht University is located at the very heart, at the very center of Western Europe, which means that it is in a very international environment that is reflected also in our student body and in our staff body. About 46% of all teaching staff, including myself, are not Dutch, so a very international community. And in our study programs, we have over 70 nationalities represented, so students come really from all over the world, and also this is very conducive to a PBL system. It might be likened to the student body of Universitas Terbuka in Indonesia, because also here there is a great diversity. It is national diversity, but students come from very different corners, very different backgrounds, which is healthy and good and helpful in a PBL setting. Might I have the next slide? Thank you. This is just a little bit of background in terms of ranking. The Faculty of Law at Maastricht University has been consistently ranked very high. The most up-to-date and the most pleasant news is missing from this. As of this year, Maastricht University Faculty of Law ranks number 19, so top 20 of all law faculties in the world in the Times Higher Education ranking, which, by the way, consists of universities of only 3 countries in the top 20, namely the US universities, UK universities, and a couple of Dutch universities, of which we are very proud to be now a part. Now, in a nutshell, problem-based learning, what is it? Of course, it is problem-based. I'm going to give an example of this later and show you what it means and what it is good for. And that makes it also a student-centered approach. As we have heard from the Vice-Rector, it is the ambition, and it should be the ambition of all universities, not just to feed knowledge in a consumptive way to students, but to spark in his worlds, to start the spark of curiosity and of learning. Now, student-centered learning means a different way of engaging with materials, and PBL is one of the methods that helps making students more active. So the learning process is centered around the student, is driven by the student, and is furthermore usually applied in a small scale and collaborative function. Before I go on, let me say a word about the small scale. So I'm presenting here a method, PBL, as it is applied in Maastricht University and as it has originally been conceived in the 1970s in Canada for medical studies. It is true that this is originally applied for small-scale teaching and learning, so small groups, usually about 15 students, is an ideal number. This is a number which is rarely achieved at Indonesian university, we are aware, and this is also a number which, especially at this university, will hardly ever be achieved. Does this mean that introducing PBL is impossible? Let me say to this that it is not our intention to present PBL as something that is binary. Either you don't do it or you do it fully, completely to the intent, to the extent that it was originally intended for. Rather, PBL can be understood as a toolbox, a collection of methods, some of which are and some of which are not so immediately suitable for the large-scale classroom. So I kindly ask you to bear with us and not be put off by the mentioning of small-scale groups. I'm going to address how, and Paradian I think is going to illustrate this very aptly as well, how some of these elements can very well be adapted to a larger classroom. Of course, it is necessary for universities who are willing to engage in PBL to facilitate this in some way. For example, and here Universitas Terbuka is a front runner, of course, by providing facilities such as a comprehensive electronic learning environment which presents students with the necessary resources at easy reach to conduct this student-driven learning endeavor. This is very important. Normally at physical universities this would also involve special room settings, special infrastructure, etc. But in our context, especially the availability of information and the availability of communication infrastructure is highly important, and this is good news because this we see present in a very excellent fashion at this university. So why should we aspire to engage in PBL? Now, at a very basic level, it has been shown by education research, and this is a simplified model, but still an impressive one, that different instruction lead to different results and different levels of retention of knowledge. And we know that retention of knowledge is one of the aims of any education. Now, we teach, students learn. That means, on one hand, that they should gather knowledge. On the other hand, it means that they should learn skills, so abilities which later they need in their professional careers once they have graduated. So the education that somebody gets, be it a law student, be it a medical student, or any other discipline, always consists of these two elements of acquiring knowledge and acquiring the ability, the skill to put this knowledge to use. I argue that PBL is a good way, one of several, but a good way of achieving both of these aims. When it comes to knowledge retention, we know that the more passive, the more consumptive a learning approach is, the worse will be the knowledge retention success. So if I listen to a lecture, even if I have a good memory, the knowledge retention will be less than if I read. But if I read, it will still be less than if I am presented with knowledge in an audiovisual format, because it is still consumptive. It is still the student consuming content which is provided by a lecturer. Even in cases of demonstration, a lecturer conducting a chemical experiment on the podium, and the students really seeing what is happening, even this will not lead to very satisfactory results. The place where it becomes interesting is the place where students start to engage actively with the material, with the knowledge they are supposed to learn. And this is really the object of PBL. We see that the best rates of knowledge retention are wherever students engage actively. So good approaches are discussing actively the knowledge that is to be learned. Practice the activities that are to be learned. So in a legal context, for example, a lecture about contract formation will only teach you so much. Trying again and again, collaboratively, and in various scenarios to actively construct contracts oneself is a better way of acquiring both that knowledge and the skill of doing it. And the best way of all, educational research shows, of acquiring knowledge is to have to teach others. And the collaborative nature of PBL the interactive nature of PBL, in which students have to explain themselves, have to explain what they mean, the solutions they found to a problem to others, and to identify problems actively in collaboration with others, is one of the most effective ways, because it requires them to express themselves in a way that makes knowledge understandable to others. I show you here a little picture of an actual teaching room in Maastricht University, not because I want to show you the beauty of the room, which is also there, but not all our rooms are that beautiful, but because I would like to ask you and reflect for a moment who in this picture, of all the ladies and gentlemen in this picture, is the lecturer. Can you identify them? Well, you are not in this room to answer me, so I might just well reveal that I personally don't know who the lecturer is in this picture, because it could be anyone. My suspicion is that it's the gentleman in the black shirt, because he appears to be a little bit older than the rest. But this, to me, is the only indication that this is the lecturer. You see all persons in this room active, engaged in communication, somehow collaborating, right? We don't know what kind of class this is, but it could very well be a picture of an actual class in the Maastricht PBL system. We have small groups, it's true, and in these small groups, a defined process is going on. So while the picture might look a little bit chaotic, everybody speaking through each other, this is not so. PBL happens according to a procedure, right? It is not a chaotic approach. We can roughly group the PBL process into these 4 stages, and the 4 stages again into 2 stages, namely the first 2 stages that we call the pre-discussion phase, and the second 2 stages that we call the self-study and the reporting phase. What happens in a problem-based learning class? Normally the 2 phases are divided over 2 separate meetings. So every meeting will consist of the reporting phase of the previous meeting and the pre-discussion phase for the following meeting, and then in between there's always a self-study time. The first step, starting at the beginning of a pre-discussion, is students are presented not with a question, but with a story, a fact pattern, a scenario, as we also call it, a case, right? Because think about it, in real life, when you have graduated with a law degree and you're working in any legal profession, be it as a practicing lawyer, as a judge, as a civil servant in a ministry, in whatever capacity you end up working, you will never be presented with legal problems in the form of an exam question. Problems always come in the form of stories, of cases, of actual scenarios. So the first task that any legal professional always has to perform mentally is to translate a situation or a story into a legal issue mentally, and to filter out from a story the legally relevant information to understand what the issue is, what the legal problem actually is. This is what happens in the first phase of the PBL process. Students read the case, they discuss whether they all understand the case in the same way, whether they are on one page when it comes to terminology and when it comes to what actually happens. And then from this, they identify the legal issue or issues. It may be several hidden in a small caselet. I'm going to give you an example in a minute. The second phase, the legal issues that have been identified are compared with knowledge that may already exist. Maybe we already know something of a solution to some aspects of the case. We can settle that and we don't have to discuss it further and can focus on what is still open. So in other words, we identify the knowledge gaps, we see what we can already solve and what the group already knows. So different members in the group can contribute their knowledge at this stage, and the result of this will be a clearer list of what has to be learned. Things we do not know yet become learning goals for the self-study phase that guide our reading in the self-study phase. In that phase, students are either alone or in study groups or in whatever setting. They try to acquire the missing knowledge, guided by these learning goals, through learning the literature. studying the literature. And then in the last phase, in the reporting phase, everybody comes back together, and the solutions that everybody found to the problems, individually or in their small groups, are presented, and we try to piece together a general answer. Now, this general answer may not be entirely correct or not be entirely complete, and this is where the tutor will also give feedback about the solutions that have been found, but the more important feedback comes from each other. It is here that it's important that students actively work along. PBL works if sufficiently many members of a group are sufficiently prepared and sufficiently active to make the program work. Of course, in the real world, nobody is always equally prepared and equally motivated, but if sufficiently many people do sufficient work, this process is bound to work and produce meaningful results. So in keywords, the system is based on real-life or life-like problems and scenarios. It usually works in small groups, but elements of this can be adapted to larger groups. It is student-centered, it is interactive. The tutor takes a reactive rather than a proactive role because we don't spoon-feed knowledge. We facilitate the active acquisition of knowledge by students who therefore need to become active, because active engagement with the material is the way to learn better and to learn not only knowledge but also skill. A lecture, even if it's a fantastic lecture and somebody has a perfect memory retention, the skill only comes by doing, and this PBL facilitates both. I have 5 minutes more. Okay. I would like to present you, after this rather abstract notion, with a sample case. Now, this could be an early stage, early semester PBL problem. It's just a demonstration, so we have here a problem which contains legal issues from different legal disciplines, and I would like to ask somebody whose Bahasa Indonesia is better than mine to just quickly read out these, I don't know, 11 lines of text so we get a good understanding. Radian, would you like to quickly do that? Yes.
So here an example of the case scenario in problem-based learning, maybe for participants who are in the Zoom meeting, you may see the text. Could you, the case scenario, just very simple, but this is an essential scenario in terms of how to understand the issue of a legal issue in this context, and then students should also analyze that legal issue. So I would like to just very quick to read it in Bahasa, of course, that the title of this case scenario is Ketinggalan Ujian. So you see from the title is just very simple, just very simple, but you will never think that it contains the legal issue or problem of law, Minggu ini ada ujian sekolah. Ujian pertama dimulai hari Senin pukul 7, tapi terjadi aksi mogok kerja supir angkutan umum. Di radio disosialisasikan TNI dan Polri akan membantu masyarakat dengan menyediakan angkutan berupa truk. Pak polisi yang sedang melakukan pemeriksaan di jalan memberhentikan Sinta. I think Sinta maybe also one of the UT students, maybe. I believe one of the name of UT student is Sinta, I believe that, Dia mengendarai motor tanpa SIM. Ceritanya seperti ini. Umur saya 15 tahun, but this is 15, not bukan mahasiswa. Saya ada ujian penting pagi ini. Akibat mogok saya tidak mungkin tiba di sekolah tepat waktu. Ayahku sudah berangkat bekerja jam 5 dan ibu di rumah sakit menunggu adik yang menderita demam berdarah. Saya putus asa dan memutuskan ambil sepeda motor milik saudara. Saya mahir mengendarai motor. Lalu kan setelah ditanya polisi tadi, dia menangis. So that is the case scenario.
Thank you very much, Pak Radian. So, since we are not in a room together, I cannot, as I normally do in these demonstration sessions, make you guess or make you deliberate quickly what are the legal issues here. I'm quickly going to unpack it just a little bit to show you how much you can fit in such a brief case scenario, and how important it is to present cases as a scenario, because this unpacking exercise is actually hard. It's the first step, which, however, a legal professional must know how to do, otherwise they are quite lost when presented with a case. So we see here elements from various areas of law. We see, for example, criminal law. Because this girl ultimately ends up taking not her own motorcycle, but she ends up taking her brother's motorcycle. She does not have the intention, however, to keep it or sell it or in any other way appropriate it for the future. So how do we have to qualify this behavior? Is this stealing? What is the definition of stealing? How is stealing legally regulated? Where can we find it in the law? How do we test whether something qualifies as theft or not? All of these issues come from these few lines. The other issue is, of course, she drives without a license. At what age can we take a license? She is apparently too young. What is the consequence for driving without a license? And can there possibly any justifications for driving without a license in situations of emergency? So we have situations of force majeure, we have other special circumstances, and we have the general regulations of the traffic code. But it doesn't stop there. We have issues of labor law, for example. There's a strike. Under what circumstances can there be strikes? Are there legal regulations that qualify these labor actions? When can they be taken? How are they regulated? What does the law say about it? We also have the actions of the police, because they arrest her. In this special situation, do they have the right to arrest her? How do we know? What does the law say about it? So there are countless questions on the basis of these few lines alone that students would have to first process and unpack into legal issues. Of course, in a real-life course, we would not combine all of these legal fields in one case. So we would normally, in a lower semester, keep it to criminal law or stick with a legal discipline. But as the program progresses, so from one semester to the next, these cases can become more complex. So you can expect PBL cases in the first semester to look rather simple, PBL cases in a master class to be rather complex, and also proceed over various meetings when we turn from problem-based learning to project-based learning, for example. In a nutshell, and I think I would like to leave it here so we have time for the discussion, this is how PBL works. Students are presented with a case scenario, they have to unpack the case scenario into legal issues, they have to transpose these legal issues into learning objectives themselves, and go study and learn in the self-study phase, report back, and as a group formulate answers. Just one last remark on the role of the tutor. Do tutors become irrelevant in this system? Absolutely not. I would argue that the expertise of the lecturer is even more important in a PBL class, because in a classic lecturing class, the tutor knows beforehand what's going to happen. They have their script, they tell their story, they're more or less done. In a PBL class, there is an element of unforeseeability to where the discussion goes. So the tutor needs all their expertise to stay on top of the discussion and to, if necessary, steer the discussion. If students miss something, you nudge them in the right direction. If students find wrong answers and the group doesn't correct it in the process, the tutor can help by asking constructive questions, etc. So the tutor remains a very important figure. Thank you very much. This was a brief introduction. We can discuss the further implementation later. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Dr. Sascha. Dr. Sascha, and for your excellent explanation and for sharing knowledge, experience with us. And I'm sure that our audiences has gained a lot of valuable insight from you today. I'm not intending to make a summarization to what you have said. I just want to directly pass it to Dr. Radian, to continue the materials. And for your information, that Dr. Radian is also the associate professor from the Faculty of Law, Airlangga University. Time and place is yours, sir.
Thank you, Pak Wahyu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening everyone, including all participants in the Zoom meeting, and the information from Pak Wahyu that mostly the participants in the Zoom meeting are tutors. Yeah. So I'm glad to be here, and it is an honor for me invited to participate and speak about my experience implementing problem-based learning at the Faculty of Law Airlangga University. Before proceed further about the problem-based learning, I would like to just share that Airlangga University, Faculty of Law, implemented this problem-based learning was part of the collaboration with Maastricht University. So we have a project together, what we call as LL.B, Legal Education, Ethics and Professionalism, which is funded by Novik and just completely end at the end 2022. So we start on 2019, which is then a COVID-19. Then we built we developed a many training, with an online. So we actually started implement this effectively on 2021 after many series of training. We have also some partner as what we call as a partner dissemination. Universitas Halu Oleo, Universitas Mula Warman, Universitas Trunojoyo Madura, Universitas Nusa Cendana, and also Universitas Borneo Tarakan. So maybe for me to give a greater benefit, I would like to speak in bahasa, but then of course maybe in the question and answer, it is free to speak in bahasa or in English. First, I would like to, saya ingin mengajak Bapak Ibu untuk merefleksi pembelajaran kita, bahwa di sistem kita ada RPS, rencana pembelajaran semester. Nah, pertanyaannya, apakah RPS itu memandu mahasiswa? Apakah mahasiswa akan membaca RPS sebelum dia akan kuliah? Di konon di tempat yang lain dosen saja kadang tidak membaca RPS-nya. Nah, lalu apakah bahan ajar, buku ajar memandu pada kemandirian belajar? Lalu berapa banyak materi yang bisa diterima, diingat dan diimplementasikan dalam pengajaran yang menempatkan dosen sebagai sumber belajar utama? Pak Sascha tadi sudah menjelaskan learning pyramid, nanti juga akan saya singgung sedikit. Nah, apakah belajar pemecahan masalah telah diberikan secara terstruktur dan sistematis? UT sangat terkenal dengan paket modul-modulnya, yang saya kira pasti itu sangat sistematis, Tapi nanti bagaimana, sejauh mana problem-based learning itu diterapkan. Lalu apakah dosen dominan sebagai sumber belajar utama? Lalu sumber belajar semakin beragam dan mudah diperoleh, termasuk perkembangan artificial intelligence. Ini tantangan tersendiri, Lalu kemudian bagaimana menstimulasi partisipasi dan aktifnya mahasiswa. Itu Bapak Ibu peserta seminar hari ini. Apa yang saya sampaikan adalah satu refleksi kita bersama. Yang terjadi mungkin mahasiswa kita rajin kuliah, but at the end daya saing lulusan kita mungkin masih menjadi pertanyaan atau tantangan. Nah, ini tadi yang sudah disampaikan oleh Pak Sascha. Saya tidak menyampaikan lagi. Jadi di learning piramida ini tadi Pak Sascha mengatakan bahwa penggunaan metode pembelajaran akan mempengaruhi penguasaan, Jadi ini satu isu yang sudah cukup lama. Kalau Bapak Ibu hanya menjadi lecture, modelnya lecture itu hanya 5%. Apalagi ini 5% itu penelitian ketika itu kira-kira belum ada gadget. Nah, sekarang sudah ada gadget, mahasiswa mungkin nerimanya, kalau Bapak Ibu bicara, mungkin nerimanya kurang dari 5%. Itu tantangannya Bapak Ibu. Nah, karena itu satu mindset awal Bapak Ibu. Di sisi lain, Pak Wahyu dan Bapak Ibu, semua pengelola prodi, kita dituntut dulu ada namanya standar pendidikan tinggi, SNDikti, Yang salah satu SNDikti itu adalah karakteristik proses pembelajaran. Maka di SNDikti dulu disebut, saya bilang dulu karena sudah dicabut dengan Permen 53, itu sifatnya interaktif, holistik, integratif, saintifik, kontekstual, tematik, efektif, kolaboratif, dan berpusat pada mahasiswa, student-centered learning. Ya, karena itu, tapi yang masih berlaku sampai sekarang ada namanya IQ, ya, indikator kinerja utama. So all university ada satu target dari universitas tentang performance index, ya. Dalam hal ini one of the performance index itu kelas yang kolaboratif dan partisipatif. Apa yang kelas kolaboratif dan partisipatif itu? Yaitu case method. Lalu yang kedua team based project dan project based learning. Saya akan sedikit membahas project yang nanti juga bisa dikembangkan karena itu part of the requirement from the ministry, ya, nggak hanya tentang case based apa yang disampaikan oleh kementerian. Ini teknisnya Bapak Ibu akan mengetahui di buku ikut indeks indikator kinerja utama, ya. Nah, student center learning itu apa Bapak Ibu sekalian? Tadi sudah disampaikan oleh Pak Sascha. Yang pertama bahwa ini adalah pelengkap, komplementer from TCL, teacher center learning. So ini bukan sesuatu yang perlu diperdebatkan atau menegasikan satu sama lainnya, tapi this is komplementer, ya. So teacher center learning and student center learning is two aspek yang kemudian tidak bisa dipisahkan, ya. Tetapi bedanya Bapak Ibu, dosen itu bukan aktor utama, ya, not the main actor in student center learning. Bapak Ibu perannya adalah facilitating, empowering, enabling. Itu juga adalah perannya tutor, ya. Tadi Pak Sascha menggambarkan tentang gambar di satu kelas, mana dosen yang, siapa dosennya di antara gambar yang tadi. Karena semuanya pada aktif untuk berinteraksi, ya. Posisi tutor Bapak Ibu tidak mendominasi, ya, seperti yang sudah dilakukan selama ini, ya. Tapi Bapak Ibu adalah facilitating, empowering, dan juga enabling, ya. Nah, karena itu mahasiswa harus aktif, mandiri, otonom, dan juga self study. Karena itu juga menuntut tanggung jawab mahasiswa. Karena itu mahasiswa itu pasti punya roadmap untuk menyelesaikan pendidikannya, dan itu adalah tanggung jawabnya, termasuk tanggung jawab terhadap setiap mata kuliah yang dia tempuh, ya. Harus interaktif dan kolaboratif, mendalam dan juga reflektif, ya. Bentuk-bentuknya ada di sini Bapak Ibu sekalian. Jadi ada small group discussion, case based learning, problem based learning, project based learning, role play atau simulasi, and etc. Ya, ini bentuk-bentuk dari student center learning. Ya. Nah, Bapak Ibu, supaya tidak ada perdebatan tentang case based atau problem based, karena di indikator kinerja utama itu tidak disebut problem based learning. Tapi kalau Bapak Ibu lihat PO Dirjen tentang beban kerja dosen, itu Bapak Ibu akan temukan terminologi problem based learning, terminologi student center learning, itu Bapak Ibu temukan. Nah, bagi saya case based method itu sama dengan problem based learning, ya. Hanya penggunaan case-nya seperti apa, ya. Nah, ini penjelasannya Bapak Ibu, case atau problem based learning, ya. Tadi sudah disampaikan oleh Pak Sascha, ya. Kasusnya bisa faktual, nyata atau kontekstual, atau dibuat skenario kasus, ya. Dari yang esensial, sederhana sampai kompleks, tergantung mahasiswa di semester berapa, ya. Semester 1 bisa tadi disampaikan oleh Pak Sascha dari kasus ketinggalan ujian tadi, ya, itu bisa sangat kompleks, bisa juga sederhana, ya. Jadi dari yang esensial, sederhana ke yang kompleks. Sangat disarankan Bapak Ibu membuat case-nya jangan case pada putusan-putusan pengadilan yang tidak diubah sama sekali. Bapak Ibu harus modifikasi atau bikin skenario sendiri yang kaitannya dengan mata kuliah itu disampaikan di semester berapa, lalu hal yang esensial apa dari case itu. Kenapa begitu? Karena kalau case-nya itu sudah ada putusan pengadilan, khususnya putusan-putusan yang itu landmark decision, dengan mudah ditemukan di internet. Analisisnya, jawabannya. Tinggal mudah dimasukkan ChatGPT. Coba yang ada di Zoom sambil buka ChatGPT, ya. Ketik saja putusan Mahkamah Konstitusi tentang batas usia calon wakil presiden. ChatGPT sudah bisa menjawabnya dengan baik. Ya, siapa yang dissenting opinion, isinya seperti apa, itu ditemukan. Nah, karena itulah Bapak Ibu, problem based learning salah satu untuk mencegah pembelajaran instan dengan melihat sumber-sumber internet itu adalah dengan membuat case skenario. Ya, ini tantangannya bagi dosen, bagi tutornya juga nantinya bagaimana membuat case skenario sesuai dengan topik yang mau diberikan. Di RPS kan ada yang namanya kemampuan yang diharapkan. Jadi di RPS itu ada achievement kognitifnya seperti apa? Apakah mengetahui, menganalisa, membedakan, mengidentifikasi, bisa membandingkan dan seterusnya. Itu tergantung seperti itu. Jadi Bapak Ibu kemudian adalah di case atau problem based learning, Bapak Ibu tugas utama pertama adalah merumuskan, membuat skenario kasusnya, ya. Nah, di situ yang akan disampaikan kepada mahasiswa. Nah, karena itu tutor nanti hanya sebagai fasilitator, menstimulasi, memancing, memampukan, membangun kepercayaan diri dari mahasiswa, ya. Nah, karena itu mungkin nanti tentang karakter taksonomi kognitifnya apa, bisa jadi comprehension, application, atau analisis, ya. Nah, itu satu hal tentang case. Nah, yang Bapak Ibu yang ada di Fakultas Hukum atau yang di Prodi Hukum, kita perlu membedakan case dan case law, ya, case and case law. Yang case itu adalah problem skenario, ya, yang tadi dibuat seperti contoh Pak Sascha ketinggalan ujian tadi. Yang case law itu putusan pengadilan atau jurisprudensi di kita, ya. Salah satu tantangan kita ketika menghadirkan pembelajaran case problem based learning itu juga kita bisa memberikan contoh-contoh case. Nah, tantangannya bagi dosen itu mensistematisasi. Misalnya kalau saya putusan Mahkamah Konstitusi di isu sistem pemerintahan presidensial itu apa? Banyak, ya. Saya menghimpun sekitar mungkin 60 putusan, ya. Saya kasih clue mahasiswanya. Nah, itu kalau case law Bapak Ibu sekalian. Nah, ini yang tadi selain contoh Pak Sascha ketinggal ujian, ini contoh case skenario saya di mata kuliah perbandingan hukum tata negara, comparative constitutional law, ya. Judulnya di case-case itu judulnya yang menarik Bapak Ibu, ya. Jangan yang biasa-biasa, ya. Ini COVID-19, Trump, Bolsonaro, Jokowi, dan AB, ya. Saya memberikan kuliah. My first meeting for comparative constitutional law is system of government, then parliamentary system. Materi ini diberikan untuk apa? Isunya hanya tentang emergency law di perbandingan di Brazil, Amerika, Jepang, Indonesia. Ya, siapa yang bisa mengeluarkan emergency law? Apakah di presiden sendiri? Apakah harus persetujuan DPR atau seperti apa kontrolnya? Nah, isunya hanya seperti itu, ya. Jadi Bapak Ibu bisa kasih judul-judul yang mungkin lebih provokatif, ya. Elemen dasar dari pembelajaran berbasis masalah karena itu adalah tadi mungkin sudah disebut oleh Pak Sascha. Satu, Bapak Ibu hadirkan meaningful problem, ya. Jadi case skenario-nya yang esensial, yang bisa membangun nalar dan seterusnya. Sebelum ke sana. Bapak Ibu dari sini kalau kita biarin ini sebagai case scenario, mahasiswa mau apa? Satu, dia baca pasti harusnya. Kedua, dia akan membedakan mana fakta biasa dan fakta hukum. Which one is just fact and which one is legal fact. Ya. Second, dia merumuskan isu hukumnya. Ya. So student identify legal issue. Jadi dia buat legal issue. Ini supaya nanti membuat skripsi sudah biasa. Apa isu hukumnya? Lalu dia menganalisis juga dari isu hukum yang sudah dirumuskan. Nah, jadi ini kemampuan nalarnya dibangun secara sistematis, ya, ketika ada case skenario, ya. Nah, saya singgung sedikit tentang project based karena kita required by the ministry that we have a target on one of the method of learning is project based, ya. Jadi project based itu Bapak Ibu tugas proyek terstruktur dalam jangka waktu tertentu, 1 semester atau setengah semester. Nggak ada project itu 1 bulan 2 minggu, nggak ada, ya, nggak ada, ya. dari satu atau gabungan mata kuliah yang relevan untuk menyelesaikan masalah tertentu kontekstual yang telah didefinisikan atau ditemukan yang kompleks. Nah, Bapak Ibu tugasnya adalah membuat perintah tentang tugas proyeknya apa, atau kasih mahasiswa terserah mau proyeknya apa, tapi Bapak Ibu punya kriteria, guidance-nya, ya. Nah, karena itu keluarannya ada banyak Bapak Ibu. Bisa jadi, saya contohkan yang kami lakukan, ya. Outcome of the project-based learning can be one, maybe policy brief in terms of legal issue. Yang kedua bisa jadi counter policy. Ya, misalnya, for example, government has new law, ya, proposed to the public, ya, or informed to the public. Counter policy-nya apa yang bisa kita lakukan, ya? Atau kerangka model kebijakan hukum, atau rancangan kebijakan atau peraturan, ya, drafting of laws, ya, itu Bapak Ibu bisa masukkan sebagai project base, ya. Nah, karena itu Bapak Ibu, kalau kita mau menerapkan student center learning, jadi student center learning mau kita terapkan, kita harus melakukan 3 hal. 1, kita harus punya instrumen, yaitu terstruktur dan sistematis dalam bentuk modul, manual or course book or case manual. So without course manual, without course book, ya, bagi saya itu bukan problem based learning, bukan center learning, ya. Karena kita harus membuat perencanaan yang sistematis, ya. This week, first week mahasiswa harus ngapain, second week kapan tutorialnya, kapan lecture dan sebagainya. Maka kita harus punya modul manual course-nya, ya. Kalau tidak ada, hanya bersifat sporadik, ya, tidak dikatakan student center learning, ya. Lalu metodenya bisa case based, problem based atau project based, ya. Yang nanti secara teknis ada lecture, kegiatannya, activity-nya itu classified into lecture and at least a tutorial meeting, ya. Jadi tidak kelas lecturing semuanya. Kalau di UT sudah lama dengan model tutor, ya, tapi barangkali di non distance learning itu masih sangat jarang juga dilakukan, ya. Model kelasnya kalau lecture kelas besar, ya. UT mahasiswa 1000-an, Pak Sascha kuliah misalnya boleh 1000 orang, ya, yang ikut. Tapi waktu tutorial kelas kecil, ya. Pak Sascha itu mengelola how many student? 650 new student. Ya, how many tutors you have? 14. Pak Sascha 17 tutors, ya. Waktu tutorial dibagi menjadi kelas kecil, dibagi dalam kelompok. Ini syaratnya Bapak Ibu, ya, kalau mau menerapkan student center learning, ya. Lainnya modul sebagai instrumen, Bapak Ibu harus punya modul, ya. Menetapkan metode dalam RPS, membuat atau menyusun modul, ya, yang mungkin juga akan di-develop lagi oleh UT. Tadi Pak Wakil Rektor juga menyampaikan, barangkali ke depan juga dikembangkan lagi. Kami di pengalaman bersama Mastery for PBL ini, kami sudah punya template pedoman membuat modul, ya. Nanti bisa kami share. Kalau juga diperlukan pelatihan, bisa kami berikan pelatihan, ya. Kami sudah punya template modul untuk membuat modulnya. Ini contoh modul-modul di kami, ya. Ini contoh cover di modul di kami, ya. Modul-modul mata kuliah, ya. Nah, yang penting salah satunya tutorial nantinya, ya, Bapak Ibu sekalian, ya. Oke, Bapak Ibu. Yang lain-lainnya bisa Bapak Ibu kunjungi di sini. So we have this website for learning method. Bapak Ibu bisa kunjungi japi.id, atau ingin menulis gagasan-gagasan pendek, ya, ada cons ID dan juga ada buku, ya, tentang legal education, ya. Saya kira itu Pak Wahyu. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share with all tutors and also with the lecturer here. Then we proceed to question and answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Give applause to Dr. Radian. Thank you for your such great explanation, sir. And now we have some time to for having question and comment from the audience. Please raise your hands and you have a question, and don't forget to depress your microphone in your computers, and also please not to forget stated your names and then the course subjects you are tutoring and your place of stay. Let us know about that. And also don't forget to whom you address your questions. And this is a quite perfect time because we still have a quarter an hour, to finish up these seminars. And I just want to give first terms to the students, probably three, question or three tutors, from the floors. All right. So let's give them the opportunity to address your questions. So, okay. Oh, all right, in here. All right. Oh, this is written questions in here. And is there any other questions that we can collect first? For the first terms, 3 questions. And I hope you have enjoyed the sessions and gained some valuable insight and speakers. Before we close the sessions, let me briefly summarize the main points and takeaways from our speakers. That Dr. Sascha basically explained to us that how significant this master PBLs, and show us, how PBLs works and what the key concept and principle behind it, and gave the benefit to us. And Dr. Salman, shared with us, how PBLs, placed in any class, and gave us some remarks, tips, and advice how to start and take a look PBLs in the adoptions in a different analytical perspective. We also, had some lively, interesting discussion. Apparently, questions from the audience, and thank you for such active involvement and contribution. I would like to thank our speakers once again for their times and expertise, and let's give them a big round of applause. I would also like to thank the organizers and authorities of the seminars for making this event possible, and please them in a hand as well. Finally, I would like to thank you all joining today. I hope we have learned something new and useful from this seminar. Please, fill out all of these questionnaires from the systems. And then finally, I would like to thank you very much and have a great day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, sir. My pleasure. Thank you, sir. Yes.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the mutual delivery session led by Mr. Dr. Sri Wahyu Krida Sakti, SH M.Si, to Mr. Sascha Hart, LL.B, LL.M, Ph.D, Dr. Radian Salman, SH LL.M. We thank you. The next agenda is giving a token of appreciation and a certificate, which will be given symbolically by Mr. Dr. Sri Wahyu Krida Sakti, SH M.Si. Before that, we would like to invite Mrs. Dr. Rosari Stawati, SH LL.M, to join us in front of. The first one is for Mr. Sascha Hart, LL.B, LL.M, Ph.D. Thank you, Mr. Sascha, for joining us here. The second one is for Mrs. Dr. Rosari Stawati, SH LL.M. Thank you, Mrs. Rosa. And the last for Mr. Dr. Radian Salman, SH LL.M. We thank the three speakers for delivering extraordinary materials. Okay. I would also like to inform you that before we finally close this event, we are going to have a group photo session. Please open up your camera and be ready with your best pose. Okay. alamin. Thus, the series of events for this seminar on development of problem-based learning model for law study program, me, Helen Ardana, as the master of ceremony, would like to thank the audience for the participation, and we also apologize if there are words or action that are less pleasing. That is all from us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and see you on the next seminar.